All right, we've got a real 9/11 discrepancy here within the Republican Party. Donald Trump is going on the warpath saying, hey, Jeb Bush, it's your brother who screwed it up. It happened under his watch, which is, of course, empirically true. And you've got everybody else saying, how dare you? You're going out of step with our talking points. 9/11 didn't happen on Bush's watch. Well, no, I mean, it did. But you cannot blame Bush. Never blame the president who's in charge for anything. Like, for example, if something happened in the embassy, like in Benghazi, on Obama's watch, we would never blame him. Okay, now come on, they're not really saying that. They can't be saying that you can't blame Bush for what happened during his watch, right? Okay, let's take a look. Here's Dana Perino on Fox News.
Well, I think it was a dismal weekend when you have liberal conspiracy theories being introduced by the Republican frontrunner. Okay, it is soft trutherism. And it is what it is. It's like it's soft racism. It's soft bigotry. You put it out there for a reason because you want. I guess you want to be provocative. Even the left doesn't do what Donald Trump did. Even only the farthest right lunatics were truthers. And this is now the Republican Party, and you have formerly lunatics talking about something. You have sane people actually having to spend time talking about this.
No, but wait. Don't get misled by what she just said. Donald Trump is not saying that it was an inside job. He's not saying that at all. She's just lying to you with this made-up word. Of course, she's from the Bush administration, so all they did was make up words like enhanced interrogation instead of torture. So saying that it happened on Bush's watch and, hey, he should have been a little bit more careful, apparently is now soft trutherism. Okay, what does that mean? Did it not happen under his watch? Look, we showed you on the program yesterday. The CIA comes in and gives a report to George W. Bush saying, Bin Laden, this is the title of it, and in the heart of it, it explained, Bin Laden determined to attack inside the U.S. Bush's reaction to that while he's on a month-long vacation in Crawford is, you covered your ass, now go home, okay? Didn't care, didn't do anything about it to stop it. Jeb Bush, as an excuse, says, well, you can't do anything beforehand. The only thing you should judge is what you do after. No, you should do something before to try to stop it, right? So this is not trutherism. This is not who did it. It's the most indisputable fact there is. It happened on Bush's watch. He didn't do anything to prevent it, right? By definition, even if you think, well, he couldn't have done anything to prevent it, that's an acceptable opinion. I don't agree with you, but I get it. But did he do anything to prevent it? No, that's a fact, right? So nobody's saying Bush did it, right? It's not actual trutherism, right? We're saying, well, I wish he'd have tried. I wish when the CIA told him he's coming, he's going to attack us, that he'd actually done something about it. That's a rock hard fact. There's nothing you could dispute about that. They live in an upside down Orwellian world where they want to change everything. And by the way, you're upset now about Trump's conspiracy theories. Well, this is not a conspiracy theory. You know, he had one before when he thought that Obama was not a U.S. citizen. And at the time, I didn't see Republicans talking about soft trutherism. I saw them supporting Donald Trump, going, oh, Donald, go get him. Yeah. Oh, where's the long form? Where's the long form? Then Dana's all about it. Now, all of a sudden, you say, hey, no, it was your guy, your president who screwed this up. How dare you? How dare you, right? Now, of course, she's not the only one on Fox News, so here we go to Jesse Waters and some others.
I don't think Donald Trump is a 9/11 truther. I think what he's saying is that 9/11 happened on Bush's watch, which is technically accurate, and history is going to magnify that. But everybody knows that Bush kept America safe after 9/11, and they put the tools in place to defeat the terrorists. If you want to play the blame game, you can point a finger at Bill Clinton. He was the one that passed up a free shot at bin Laden in the late 90s in Africa and passed.
Okay, I love that. I mean, it's technically accurate that it happened under his watch. But let's misdirect again, right away. No. Even though it was during his term, we should blame a president who wasn't in office at the time. Of course you should, right? Well, why didn't Clinton take the free shot at bin Laden? By the way, that's not true. The 9/11 Commission, who was selected by the Bush administration and was far, far too kind to the Bush administration, said, no, that's made up. Clinton did not have a free shot at bin Laden, and the government of Sudan did not promise to hand him over. No, it's not true. The 9/11 Commission report already said it. Wait, you don't believe the 9/11 Commission report? Are you a truther? Is that soft trutherism that you're peddling there? And so, okay, and let's say you thought Clinton should have done more. And by the way, even the made-up thing about how they offered bin Laden to Clinton, at that time, bin Laden had not attacked our embassies, right? So what would we have arrested or killed him for? And now the Republicans are actually saying, who cares? You should have preemptively killed that guy. But let's watch the second half of this Fox News.
I think this is an important question because if we don't learn from the mistakes in the past, I would argue we're doomed to repeat them. In my first book, which I wrote in 2002, Let Freedom Ring, I actually described how Mansour Ijaz tried to broker a deal between the U.S. and Sudan where literally the Sudanese were offering, they wanted sanctions lifted, and they offered bin Laden on a silver platter. If Bill Clinton knew he wanted to commit crimes against America and was offered him, and he didn't take them, isn't that in and of itself a legal basis to take the guy? I mean, if we're going to really delve into this issue, that seems to me like an admission.
I think there's two ways to look at Islamic terrorism. One is a threat that has to be taken out as it relates to, creating a strategy that calls it a war, or we view it as a law enforcement operation where people have rights. I think the Clinton administration made a mistake of thinking bin Laden had to be viewed from a law enforcement perspective. Similarly, President Obama's policies seem to be focused on that as well.
Think about the madness of that. So that's obviously Hannity talking to Jeb Bush. And Jeb says, I mean, in this made-up thing that's in Sean Hannity's book, so it must be true, about how Bill Clinton, somebody walks in from Sudan and says, okay, Bill Clinton, I have this bin Laden guy. We think he might want to attack you at some point. Would you like to arrest him or execute him? And Bill Clinton says, well, he hasn't committed any crimes yet. This was before embassy bombs. What would I do with him? By the way, the story's not true. But if it were true, Jeb Bush says, we should have killed him anyway. Because you're looking at it from a law enforcement perspective. I'm looking at it from a war perspective. Okay, but at that point, he hasn't attacked us at all. So are we supposed to go around preemptively killing a whole bunch of people in the Middle East? Like, I don't know. Or in other parts of the world. There could be people in Europe who want to attack us. Well, we don't know yet because they haven't done it yet. Maybe they committed a thought crime. Unfortunately, we are headed in that direction. So this is the insanity that the right wing lives in. Okay. So then Jeb Bush went on to say in that same interview, quote, the simple fact is that when we were attacked, my brother created an environment where for 2,600 days we were safe. No one attacked us again. Well, that's a curious way of counting, right? So during that time, there was a lot of attacks inside the United States. There was the anthrax attacks. There was the Washington, D.C. sniper. Somebody else already made this point, but it was one of the comedians, I forget which one. They said if there was a D.C. sniper going around with the name Mohammed for over 30 days terrorizing the entire D.C., Virginia area under Obama's watch, what would the Republicans have said? Oh, my God, he let the terrorists in here. They're terrorizing us. They're killing us, and he can't catch them. He can't catch them. We've been attacked, right? There was many different domestic attacks. They just weren't as spectacular as 9/11. They weren't as horrific as 9/11. Our allies got attacked as well. Our troops were killed, nearly 5,000 of them. Bush sent them over to Iraq to die for no reason when Iraq didn't attack us on 9/11. If there were people that were opposed to us in the Middle East, he'd gift wrap our troops for them, right? But none of that counts. So the bottom line is the Bush camp is arguing that since there weren't two 9/11s on his watch, 9/11 is one of the most catastrophic things that has ever happened in the United States. But since there wasn't two catastrophes in his watch and only one historic catastrophe, well, then he must have kept us safe. Well, that's the worst definition of safe I have ever seen. Now, the reality is, could he have done more? Oh, you better believe it. To say that Clinton didn't do enough, are you kidding me? Okay, first of all, let's note for the record that after we were attacked, Bush and Cheney never caught bin Laden. They'd like to do revisionist history on that, but that didn't happen on their watch. It happened under Obama and many years into his term. Okay, so if Bush can't be blamed for 9/11 happening 9 months into his term, he certainly can't get credit for something that happens 3 years into Obama's term, right? You never caught bin Laden. Part of the reason is because, of course, they're miserable failures. Nothing they did in foreign policy ever worked. Ever, right? Whoops, we attacked the wrong country. Oh, yeah. Whoops, we never got the perpetrator of this catastrophe upon the American people. We attacked all the wrong people. Did we get bin Laden? No, we didn't. Now, were they really trying? That's the question. Well, New York Times had a huge article back at the end of 2004, conveniently after the elections, saying, yeah, it turns out we had bin Laden cornered in Tora Bora, and a U.S. general was asking, can I send my troops in to finish him? Rumsfeld said no. That's amazing. I had James Risen, who wrote that article on the Young Turks back when we were a radio show. I said, why did you run the article after the election? He said, we didn't want it to be political. But you made it political by holding it. Why didn't you let the American people know that George W. Bush and Dick Cheney, Don Rumsfeld, when they had bin Laden cornered, decided not to pursue him? Could you imagine if a Democratic president had done that? That he just let bin Laden go when our commander asked to pursue and they said, do not pursue. Now, among the articles written there, James Risen had this piece of reporting from the New York Times as well. American military and intelligence personnel in Afghanistan are no longer really hunting for bin Laden, an intelligence official told us. Okay? So that's not them speculating. An intelligence official said, we're not hunting for bin Laden anymore. That was back in 2005. He stopped trying. Oh, you don't believe the New York Times, liberal media, right? Okay, great. I'll give you quotes from George W. Bush. Here's what he said on March 13th of 2002. I don't know where bin Laden is. I have no idea and really don't care. It's not that important. It's not our priority. Now, that's a direct quote from George W. Bush. You're telling me he was doing everything he can to get bin Laden? Could you imagine if Obama had said, I don't care where bin Laden is. It's not my priority. It's not that big a deal. Oh, they would have eviscerated him. They would have started impeachment proceedings immediately. I'm not done. Also at that same press conference, Bush said, quote, I am truly not that concerned about him. Later, in an interview with the Washington Post in 2005, when they asked Bush, hey, how come you haven't gotten bin Laden yet? He glibly responded, because he's hiding. Because he's hiding. Now, you want to talk again about who's responsible for 9/11, who let our guard down, who didn't get the perpetrators of 9/11, who was miserable in their handling of 9/11 before, during, and after? Yeah, that would be the Bush administration. And any effort to try to blame Clinton or Obama is honestly pathetic, absolutely pathetic. And we couldn't even have, and the mainstream media also pathetic. We couldn't even have this obvious conversation until a Republican brought it up. If Democrats brought it up, un-American, how dare you? Soft trutherism, no, shh, shh. Oh, Bush is never to blame, shh, right? And we literally had a Bloomberg reporter almost shout that at even Trump when he first brought it up. But now that it's a billionaire Republican, it is a legitimate conversation and we can have it. Now, still, Dana Perino calls it soft trutherism, but now they have to respond. And once you get into the conversation, it's obvious what happened. Bush bungled it through and through. So don't believe the hype on trying to blame anyone else. And this is from the party that claims they're for personal responsibility. That's really funny and tragic at the same time.